Everybody out there at Facebook and YouTube, we are back again with Golf Cart Garage. The garage is now open. We're going to talk about some golf cart issues today, hopefully. Maybe help some people out, maybe save some people some money, like we always do every Tuesday and Thursday. We come here every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. And we talk about anything about the weather, the golf carts, or anything you got going on. So if you're in the live chat watching, feel free to make a comment, feel free to ask a question. If you have any questions about golf carts, we'll see if we can do it. Either myself or maybe someone in the room, in the chat room can. We're gonna take a little time here to let everybody get in if they would like. See what we got over here. It looks good. Looks like the stream is working good. All right. Well, I am Tim. I am a member of the Gearheads on Demand service that is offered by Golf Cart Garage. And Gearheads on Demand is a service that we offer where if you would like to schedule a phone call with me, you can. If you're interested in that, you can click the link in the description and that takes you to the scheduling page. And you can schedule your whatever time is convenient for you and I'll give you a call at that time. And I can maybe talk to you one-on-one and maybe be able to help you out with your golf cart issue or give you some advice on which direction you should go in. Let's see. Rock Dog, what's up, man? 74 and sunny in Athens. You talking about Athens, Georgia, Rock Dog? Is that what you're talking about? 74 and sunny, because that's about what it is here today. Gene Hansen, what's up, Gene? Good to see you. 1 John 1. Greetings, Tim, from a rainy Corpus Christi. Greetings, 1 John 1. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Let me look over here. Catherine Freeman, hello from Texas on Facebook. What's up, Catherine Freeman? Let's see. All right. I'll go over some regular questions and then I'm sure we'll talk to some people in the chat also. Mason, what's up, Mason? Hey, Tim from Minnesota. Been a bit 55 and sunny here today. My boy has a golf match at 1, so work this morning. Now I'm going to watch him this afternoon. Great to be outside in the sun. Yeah, it's we're in the low 70s here and sunny. I am probably going to ride a motorcycle today. I've been seeing some snakes lately too. I like to ride I ride like on off-road motorcycles, and I like to take all the gravel roads. And this time of year, when you take the gravel roads in the woods and everything, you can see a lot of snakes because they're starting to move here in Arkansas. I can tell you that there's quite a few. So I may take a motorcycle ride today. Let's see. Ab, hello Tim, hello fellow gearheads. What's up, Ab? Glad to have you in the chat. All right, let's go to the, let me run the social media links. How about that for an idea? There's the social media links running now. You can follow us on, you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube, of course, but you can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm running those links right now. Rock Dog is in Georgia. All right, cool. There's a couple of people that come into the chat that are in Georgia. I wonder if it's a coincidence that that's where, you know, the 3 major manufacturers of golf carts are made. There's in Georgia. I wonder if that's why people are in the chat from Georgia. Let's see. That was the social media links. All right. We'll get started with the questions here, the regular questions. Question number 1. I have a 2005 Club Car 48 volt. It will accelerate, but after a short distance, it slows down. Well, I'm sure a lot of you that are in the chat that watch this episode regularly, you probably know what I'm about to say. because the first thing I'm going to want to eliminate is that it did not slow down because of your batteries. I want to check that. So when it slows down, I'm going to want battery readings first, so we can eliminate that and move on to whatever the next thing is. Let me check over here. No, we're good there. Missy, what's up, Missy? Spoke to Missy's husband yesterday. Nice guy. I have a feeling, Missy, that if I lived closer to you, that me and Quan would probably hang out. He's a nice man. Seems like it. Let's see, number 2. I'm having trouble trying to figure out why my G2 won't start. It all started when I had to replace the solenoid due to damage. Replace the solenoid due to damage. Now nothing works. Well, if on a G2, I used to have a G2. Nice car, by the way. That's a workhorse car. It's a G2. If your car's not turning over, then I would go to the pedal stop switch under the floor and make sure that that is not messed up for some reason. Also, it wouldn't be out of the question for brushes in a G2, because I've come across one before that wouldn't do anything. Turns out it was brushes in the starter. You know, on a G2, the way the brushes work in that starter is that when they're brand new, they're a certain length and they're under spring tension and they're pushing against the armature, and that starter spins all the time, so they're constantly touching that armature, and over time they start getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Now it could take years and years before they get short enough to where they start losing contact, but it does happen, and G2 is definitely not out of the question on being able to shorten that starter brush. So you know how, this is how I found the brushes on the starter. I didn't take the starter off. I got kind of lucky. You know how the starter's got those little rubber caps on the side? That's where the brushes are. If you can pop one of those rubber caps off and get a piece of wood and press on the brush with a piece of wood, and then see if that makes any difference, like trying to start the car, if it starts spinning, that's how I found the brush issue on my G2 that I had. But first thing I'd be looking at would be pedal stop switch. Let's see. Just for an update, Mason said, I got out my new Club Car lithium tempo, played 18 holes, lots of power and speed. Cart was awesome. The gauge said 70%. So you had 70% left after 18 holes. Cool. And see, that's what I like to hear. That's real user data right there, you know, and don't have a lot of that, you know, on lithiums. You know, I want it on. Remind us again, Mason, about the brand of your lithium. What brand do you have? Remind us in the chat so we can. I'll even take note of it because that's good feedback. But it's on that particular brand. You know, there's lots of competition out there. He said the same thing about you. Oh yeah, yeah. He and I would hang. There's no doubt about it. He's a huge gearhead like you. Yeah, y'all have some interesting cars. He's got a lot. Y'all got a lot of horsepower laying around, you know, at your house. It sounds like. Number 3. '59 amp hour Vanguard. It's all stock. 59 amp hour Vanguard with AC motor. Okay, so you've got it. You have the AC set up. I don't remember exactly what car you have, but I see, Mason. Yeah, but it's only a 59 amp hour. Hey Tim, what's your opinion on D-sulfate battery chargers, and does Golf Cart Garage sell them? Also, what is the most efficient one? That's funny. We had this this question kind of come up today at work earlier this morning. One of the operators was asking me some questions about that. The desulfating thing, I think what the deal is it does mislead a lot of people. It gives you the impression that if you've got batteries that are completely sulfated, that you hook up a desulfator and it'll fix it. Well, if that was true, then there would be no need for new batteries, because everybody would be desulfating their old batteries, you know, their ruined batteries. So obviously that's not the case. Now, does it help? I think that would be a more accurate opinion. Does it help increase the life of a good battery? That's where I would be going as far as my opinion goes. I would put that as being a little more accurate. It helps the desulfation from occurring, because once the plates get sulfated, it's like cement. I mean, it was cement to the lead plates, and that part of the lead is going to be ruined. It's never going to have capacity anymore. You're never going to get that off unless you knock it off with a hammer, and then you're going to damage the lead. You know, there are real complicated ways that require dismantling of the battery and get on the inside, and then you can recycle the plates. You got to get all the desulfation off. But I would use any type of desulfating charger on a known good battery. That's what I would do. I wouldn't really count on it to help me revive a sulfated battery. That would be my opinion on that. Kurt, glad to have you here, Kurt. Hello, by the way. 2022 demo model lithium tempo club car. Okay, so so that's what the brand of battery is, a Vanguard. That's what comes in that car, is what you're saying. Let's see. That is pretty good though. 18 holes and 70% left. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. Number 3. Yeah, so it's Vanguard is what they use. That's not a common. I guess they had to use something different. They wouldn't use something that was you know, one of the common lithium brands. They're going to have something that's proprietary for them, or ever who got the contract with them. You know, that was a heck of a contract, you know, for them to acquire, to be able to use whatever brand battery that is. It's a Club Car fleet model. That's cool though. Ricky Smith, what's up, Ricky Smith? Glad to have you, man. Number 3. My EZGO gas cart parking brake won't stay in the locked position. Well, depending on which EZGO, is it TXT or an RXV, then the way the parking brake works is a little different. And on a TXT, there's this long rod. It's about 6 inches long, and it's got a little, like a crook on the end, and you'll see when you push the parking brake, you'll see exactly where it latches. And if you'll look at that, and you can see what's wrong, you know. And on the other one, you may have to take your floor mat up. If it's an RXV or something, it may be a little more complicated in order to see. But you look up under the cart, and you can see how it's called like a brake locking pawl, I believe is what it's called. So check that and make sure that that's not where. It could just be your cables are a little bit out of adjustment, needs some tightening, and it'll make it lock harder and lock in place. But you just got to look at it, and you'll see how it works and figure out what part is worn. Obviously something is worn, or your cables are out of adjustment a little bit. Sheldon 𝗂𝗏𝘃𝗲. What's up, Sheldon? Glad to have you here, man. What's the best way to bench test a DC motor, region or series? Well, it's two different. We talked about this last time, I think. We can talk about it again if you would like, but yeah. A series motor, you take a battery cable. First, obviously, the first step in bench testing motors is remove the cables. Leave the motor mounted to the rear end of the cart. Don't actually literally do a bench test. Don't remove the motor and put it on your bench, because the front end of the motor needs to be supported. So leave it connected to the rear end of the cart. Remove all 4 cables. Now, so far, that's the same for whether it's region or series. Take notes, take pictures of where your cables were, make a drawing, whatever you got to do. On a series motor, you tie an A terminal to an S terminal with a short battery cable. Take one of your battery cables off, tie an A terminal to an S terminal, and make a jumper there. All right, then you've got 2 open terminals. put 12 volts to those two open terminals, and that should spin. All right. Now, on a region cart, it's a little different. Everything's the same up except for the jumpers. On a region cart, you're going to take two jumpers. You're going to tie an A1 to S1 and an S2 to A2. Two separate connections, two separate jumpers, and then apply 12 volts to those. 12, let me see what the 12 volt positive is. 12 volt positive to one of them, and then 12 volt negative to the other one. It's two separate connections, and then the motor should spin. Let's see. Number 4 on the regular questions. My Club Car 𝗪𝗃2 Plus won't turn left, and I'm not sure why. Any ideas what could cause this? Well, I tell you what I've seen. I tell you what can happen in club cars, especially. On the spindles on a club car, there are alamites or zerks or grease fittings, and whatever you want to call them. There's an alamite or zerk or grease fitting on each spindle, and a lot of times those get neglected. All right, and the grease that is in there eventually dries up. And the spindle is actually not allowing it to turn because the grease is dried up and the spindle is almost like frozen shut, and it causes your steering to be really hard and you don't know where it's coming from. So what you need to do is you need to check your spindles. And in order to do that, you're just going to raise the front end of the golf cart. You may end up having to disconnect the tie rod end off of the spindle and then turn the tire with your hands. If it turns freely, then you know you haven't found your problem yet. Go to the other side and do the other spindle and see if that tire turns freely. If both tires turn freely, then your steering box itself there's something wrong in that. You may have to replace your steering box. It's not going to be the steering column. Very unlikely that the steering column itself, but that's only three components that it could be. Either the steering column itself, something's wrong there. Very unlikely that that's going to cause it to bind up. Steering box is a little more likely, but spindles is the most likely thing that's causing it. So check that out. You may have to disassemble the spindle, scrape all that old grease out, get the zerk fitting cleared out again to where a grease gun can actually pass grease through there. Let's see. Number 5. I have an electric 2003 TXT that goes full throttle as soon as the pedal is pressed in both directions. I'm guessing a bad controller, but want to know for sure before I get one. How do I go about troubleshooting that? The golf cart was running just fine. We went camping for a week and got into some rain. There we go. When I got ready to load it, on the trailer, it jumped when pressing the pedal, but later realized that it was running full throttle as soon as you touched the pedal. Lifted the floor up and cover and looked at the ITS box, and all that was dry. And it has been sitting since last Saturday and still doing this. Yes, thank you, Rock Dog. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, lift the rear end off the ground before testing or your golf cart will roll over you. And when I was telling Sheldon about the motor test, that is true. See, that's why y'all here. You gotta keep me on my toes. Let's see. Now, I'll tell you what I have seen. Did they tell me their name? No, it's from an anonymous person. All right. I do not think that it's going to be your controller and with your TXT that's going wide open throttle, you know, when you just touch it. I've never seen a controller fail in that way. All right. I have seen ITS fail in that way. An ITS in an EZGO is in a spot, it's in a box, it's in a metal box. It is not a waterproof area at all. It's a metal box. It even has holes in it that allows water to drain out. Now the ITS itself is a sealed electronic tunnel if you will. I mean, it's a proximity switch is what it is, and it works, the way that it works is a metal rod passes through it, and depending on the proximity of the metal rod, it increases the signal going to the controller. Your controller is not waterproof either, but it is in a less likely to get wet area, especially if the stock cover is on the controller. The ITS, I have seen them develop a hairline crack in that resin, the resin that they use to seal it, and that hairline crack, water can get inside that hairline crack. I mean, just because your ITS was dry when you looked in it doesn't mean you didn't get some water in it at one time. Or condensation. If it's got a hairline crack, it can get condensation in it. And it can cause the ITS to send a lot of weird signals to the controller, which therefore will end up putting weird signals out to the motor. And one of those signals I have seen is a wide open throttle signal from the ITS to the controller as soon as it's activated. So testing those motors, Sheldon says, so testing those motors on the bench, not in the cart, they will spin. Yes, they will, but they're unsupported. I tried exactly what you described, and it acts like it wants to, but it seems to get pulled up to the sides and sticks there. Well, are you saying you did it in the cart, or you tried to do it on a bench? Because, I mean, that... it's every motor test you're going to read is a, you know, I don't like the fact that it's even called a bench test, because it should not be performed on a bench because the end is not supported. So I'd put it back in the rear end to do this test just to make sure that that's not the problem, if that's what you're saying. Let's see. Number 6, 2004 Club Car Precedent. When going top speed, it cuts out and slows down for just a second, then goes full speed. This happens every 15 to 30 seconds. What could be the reason for this? Well, it sounds like that the signal that the 𝗪𝗂𝗲𝗄, that's what the Precedent has in 2004. And by the way, 2004 was the very first year of the Precedent rollout. And I was the warranty guy, believe it or not, for Club Car in 2004. And so I had a lot of warranty issues with 2004 Precedents. And I replaced several 𝗪𝗂𝗲s, you know, during that time. So it sounds like your 𝗪𝗂𝗲 signal is varying, it's not stable, and you could have Club Car plug in their computer. Your car has a diagnostic port. They could plug in their computer. It's called an IQDM. It's a little special computer that only they have, or very few people have it. And you could read and see and look at your 𝗪𝗂𝗲 signal and see if that is actually what's happening, see if that signal is varying. They could do that in like 5 minutes or so. I don't know how much they would charge you for that, but you could do that just to be sure. Wanjan, I've never seen a speed sensor go up and down. I have only seen a speed, and not to say that it couldn't happen, but I've never seen a speed sensor vary and go up and down. Most of the time, or 99% of the time, a speed sensor issue that I have come across in Club Cars and in Precedents, it will start out good and then boom, and it will drop down dramatically, quickly, and stay there. I've never seen it like come down and then go back up and then come down and vary like what he's describing. That's why I'm leaning more toward 𝗪𝗂𝗲. But now, if somebody else has ever seen a speed sensor vary while they're doing, then let me know, because, you know, like I said, with a faulty electrical system like in a golf cart, anything is possible. I'm not ruling out that it could be a speed sensor. I'm just leaning toward the 𝗪𝗂𝗲 more so. Let's see, number 7. Overfilled Trojan batteries. I have a Trojan battery filler, but it overfilled. When I turn on the charger, water starts to come out of the top. What can I do? Thanks. Well, I would not remove the water. If you're losing a little bit when you charge, come up with, for temporaries, just for a, just for a short while, come up with some kind of system to contain the water, because it's not really water, it's acid, so it's harmful, and it's going to be harmful to your concrete. So park your car on something for a while until that water dissipates to enough to where it gets down to a normal level, and stop using the battery filler. But between now and then, just let it come out. Wash your car often. Wash the batteries often until the acid level gets down to a normal spot. I have not really found one of those battery fillers that I trust 100%. That's why I usually don't recommend them. I usually just recommend looking in the hole, the battery hole, filler hole, and putting the water a little bit above the plates, somewhere between halfway from the top of the plate to the top of the battery. Don't fill them up all the way to the top, or you end up with these kind of problems like what you're describing. So, and stop using that battery filler. I don't know, it may be broke or something, but when they work fine, but something must be wrong with yours if it overfilled. But like I said, I would not remove the water. I would just contain it and wash until eventually they will stop doing that. Let's see. Sheldon said it on the bench. Yeah, well, just to, like I said, just to be sure that that's not the issue, I'd put it back in the cart and then do the test again. Yeah, that's Rock Dog is probably 100% correct there. When the shaft of the motor is not supported, the magnetic force will pull the commutator to the coils in the case of the motor. That's probably technically 100% accurate is what's happening there. Missy wanted to be the first to remind me about the tip. Well, yeah, you're a little early, but yeah, you're first for sure. Let's see, Golf Cart Garage posted, says they lost a set of batteries in a Precedent because of a clogged watering system. Now we only use the fill bottle. Yeah, see, some of those watering systems, what I have heard happen before too. Those watering systems where you've got one connection, and then you've got the hose or whatever, your just big bottle of distilled water or whatever, and you hook it to one connection because every hole has a tube going into it. There have been more than one occasion where people's batteries have blown up, and I'm not talking about just one battery. All 6 of them, all 6 batteries blew up at the same time. Well, why would that be? It's because that stuff is flammable. And if you've got every battery hole connected, with acid, then if one battery blows up, it's going to blow up all of them. That's happened more than a few times. That all 6 have gone up, and more than not, they have a battery watering system on it. Is all I'm saying. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it to me, though. Yeah, Kirk, Missy's trying to take your job. Yeah, Kirk is the tip reminder, Missy. You're blocking him. Let's see. Was on number 8. I have a 2014 Precedent gas. I'm not getting voltage to my solenoid, and I had a mechanic look at it. He thinks there is a diode in the wiring harness somewhere, but he and I have stripped the harness and looked and can't seem to locate it. Have you got any info that might help? Thanks. I don't know about a diode in the harness that would be causing that. If it were me on a gas cart and the solenoid wasn't clicking, you got to understand, we talk about on an electric cart, we talk about an M core all the time. Okay, we talk about the M core and that it's involved in the activation circuit for the solenoid. It's involved in the circuit that allows voltage to get to the activation coil of the solenoid to make the solenoid click. Well, a gas cart, that year gas cart, has what's called a G core. Now the G core looks just like an M core, sort of. It's very similar to an M core, but it's not really so much as far as throwing a signal, it's just a unit that, but it does have a switch inside of it, you know, so it's going to be involved in the activation circuit too. So I would be looking at that rather than looking for a diode. Yeah, you're right, Kirk. I might forget. If you catch me two questions too early, I'll just forget all over again. So if y'all hear me say, "All right, I'm about to get out of here," then tell me. Okay, number 9. I have a 2004 TXT that I just upgraded to lithium. All worked like a champ for about 2 weeks. Then on the ride last Tuesday, it just stopped. The voltage is good, so thought it may be a solenoid, so got a replacement, and it's still doing the same thing. What else could it be? Well, I'd have some questions. Are we talking about a stock controller? Are we talking about a lifted car, taller tires? Because all those would affect, you know, where I would be leaning toward. Because you put lithiums in it. Now, if you put lithiums on a stock controller on a stock cart, probably nothing would happen. Everything would be fine. But if you put lithiums on a cart that is lifted and has taller tires, with still running the stock controller, that lithium battery is going to make that stock controller work even harder, because the cart's going to be more powerful. It's going to have a greater power to weight ratio, and so it could really make that stock controller work really hard, and you could be going into thermal shutdown on your controller. So I just have a few questions. You still have your job, Kirk. Missy's going to let you keep it. Number 10, last scheduled question. I do not drive it often. After coasting downhill, problem engaging acceleration. It does finally start moving. It's a 2007 Club Car Precedent. Batteries manufactured in 2017, installed in 2018. They are top brand batteries. We have maintained them properly. What could be causing this acceleration hesitation? Sounds like that you could be talking about your region. Like, you know, your car, a Precedent, can come from the golf course or from the factory, you know, preset to a certain amount of regenerative braking in it. And the way that works is when you come down a hill, first of all, it won't allow you to freewheel and coast. It will electrically stop you as you're going down a hill. Now, when it does that, it puts power back into your battery pack. Okay, it won't let you go past a certain speed, no matter how steep the hill is. Now, that sounds like what you could be describing is that when you're going down a hill and you've got your foot on the floor and you're thinking you're gonna fly down this hill, but you don't, and then you start trying to push the pedal to go faster and it won't let you, and then you eventually, when it levels out on ground, or you start going up a hill and the car slows down, then it will let you accelerate. Your controller could just be programmed for way too much regenerative braking for your taste or for your environment that you're driving the car in. Those cars get ordered, you know, for the golf course with a certain amount of regenerative braking from the factory, depending on what the pro of the golf course ordered. He ordered it because he knows what his golf course terrain is like. In real hilly golf courses, if they ordered electric cars, they would get an electric car that had more regenerative braking to keep his clients from flying down these hills, you know, just coasting into eternity and going 30, 40 miles an hour. They don't want that on a golf course, so that he orders all his cars to have a lot of regenerative braking to keep them from being able to do that. So that could be your issue, is all I'm saying. I mean, that's what it sounds like you might be describing. So you can get that, you can have them reprogram your controller and remove some of that regenerative braking, you know, or speed it up, whatever you want to do. Scott in YouTube. What's up, Scott? Can I get more speed out of a 97 EZGO TXT 36 volt? Sure you can. I replaced the battery to a lithium and lifted it with 20-inch wheels. Stock controller. I think did they ask me this already? It seems like sounds like a very familiar question. So someone asked me this at work, I believe, or it may have been yesterday. Did you talk to anybody, Scott? Did you talk to anybody at Golf Cart Garage? Because I think I answered one of the operators asked me this same question. You may have been in a chat room or something with one of our operators. But yes, the 20-inch tires, I'm assuming you meant tires and not 20-inch wheels there. You got 20-inch tires, okay? 18 is stock, 18 inches stock. So if you go to 20, then that's going to increase your speed a little bit right there, just by going to 20. Now, you replaced with a lithium battery, which actually probably upped the voltage slightly, or it's going to resist voltage drop more. So that may even have helped you just a little bit on top end speed. Not necessarily though, but just a little bit. The next thing you could do, since you've got this, is just go with high speed gears. If you want to do that, you can put in. You got stock gears ratio is 12.44 to 1. There is a set for an EZGO TXT. There's a set of 8 to 1s, which is a little faster than that, a little taller gear is how they describe it. There's a set of 6 to 1s for an EZGO TXT. That car right there has 6 to 1s in it. That's the tallest gear set you can have. But you want to make sure you have enough power first to pull a taller gear set. So you got to get your power up, and then you can pull as tall a gear as you want. And that will definitely get your speed up. Okay. Let me run the social media links again. Please follow us on Facebook and YouTube, or follow us on all of these other platforms, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow us there too. If you're watching this episode, please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. We talk to people. We talk to people about golf cart issues. We try to save them some money, try to steer them in the right direction. That's what we do here every Tuesday and Thursday. You never know. Sometimes my mom is even watching. So I don't know if she is today or not. Let's see. All right. Did the social media links. All right. Let's see how this works. Bam. TM giveaways. Brand new coupon. The other one's expired. This one is now active. Get 5% off any parts you order at golfcartgarage.com if you use coupon code TIM10 at checkout. That's TIM10 at checkout. Get 5% off anything you order. Let's see. All right. Scott says, will a speed controller help? In your car, is it a series cart? Does your cart, Scott, does your car have a run tow switch? Because in 97 you could. It's very possible that you could have a run tow switch. I'll answer your question just because of time wise. If your car does have a run tow switch, then a controller would help. If it does not, then a bigger controller is most likely not going to help, because that means you would have a series wound electrical system, and replacing the controller with a bigger is not going to help you on top end speed. If your car does have a run tow switch though, you replace your controller, then it would help you on top end speed, because it would be like unlocking your controller. My mom's doing good, Missy. I haven't talked to her in a couple of days. I need to call her today, in fact, so thank you for reminding me about that. I need to call her today. So Scott, you said your car does have a run tow switch. All right, if that is the case, let me ask you this: where is it located on your car? Because in 97 it could be located in two different spots. Is it located behind your right knee when you're sitting in the cart, or is it on the dash beside the key? And is what I would want to know. Either way, a controller will speed that car up, yes. You get a ���𝗔𝗔 for either one, but it's just two different types of electrical systems. Your car is either a DCS. It's either a DCS. If you do have a run tow switch and it is behind your knee, then your car is a TXT DCS. It's not a PDS. If it was beside the key, it would be a TXT PDS beside the key. But if it's behind your knee and you have a run toe switch, then it is a DCS. And you can get a 𝗪𝗔𝘃𝗲 controller for or an Alltrax controller for an EZGO DCS. And that will speed your car up, yes, a little bit. You'll probably be very happy with it, in fact, because if it's a DCS, that's I've said this before, that's one of the most common controllers that I've had to replace in golf cars. The stock one, you know, it's a weak controller. You're welcome, Scott. That's why we're here, man. Feel free to come back every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. All right. Things we learn on this channel, amazing. Well, thank you, Missy. Now it is time for the tip. This week's tip. I talked about it earlier, which I always do. I usually just take a tip from something that I talked about in the episode. And the tip is about the tight steering. You know, and I've really already given the tip. The tip is how to check for how to check what the problem is for tight steering. And the bottom line is you want to disconnect your spindles from the tie rod, lift the front end of the car up off the ground, and see if your tire rotates freely. Okay, that is the easiest way to determine where your tight spot is. And like I said, very common in club cars that are neglected with the grease. The maintenance of the spindles has been neglected over the years, and it just freezes up, and they get tighter and tighter and tighter. So that was this week's tip. I know it's not a real exciting tip, but it actually is a good thing to know. All right, that was episode 112. That was it. We are through with episode 112. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank some of the new people that I see. I don't recognize all of these names. Some of you I do, but Scott, Rock Dog's been here before. Thank you for coming, Rock Dog. Of course, Missy and Kurt and Sheldon. I don't remember you being here before, so thank you for showing up, Sheldon, and please come back if you would like. Juan John, appreciate you being here. Ricky, Mason, what's up, dudes? Kurt, of course, Kurt. Ab, got several. Gene Hansen, yeah, I'm not going to forget about Gene. Let me check Facebook again before I go. Don't get too many people on Facebook. I don't know why that is. All right. I will see everybody on Thursday. By the way, Dino's not here today. He's out of town. He took the day off. He went out of town with my wife, visiting her parents. So, oh, Missy, I didn't even see that you had just asked that. I was just saying that. I really didn't see that first where you said, where's Dino? He took the day off and he went to visit my in-laws with my wife. Greg Elliott. Oh, you've been here hiding now, Greg. I see. All right, guys. I'll see y'all Thursday. And I don't think Dino's going to be back Thursday either. He won't be back till he'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode. On Facebook, people look for drama, not learning experience. You might be right, because I mean, I get some people on Facebook, but not near as much as I do on YouTube. All right, guys, I'm out of here. The garage is now closed. I'll see y'all later.